So let's assume that you have done a very good job of understanding the rules of the future context that your organization is going to play in. And secondly, let's assume that you've done a good job of understanding the core strategic challenge and of crafting a vision that will answer that core strategic challenge. How do we get from where we are now to there, to that future vision? In other words, what is our strategic agenda, or how do we formulate our strategy to get there? Let me use an analogy. If you go to a foreign town that you've never been to before, and you need to go from a point A to point B, a local resident could give you a route map from where you are, point A, to where you need to go, point B. And that route map will be predicated by his best understanding of what the journey will entail and what you are likely to encounter on that journey. This is like formulating strategy where there is only one route to the future, where your strategy is simply, this is what we are going to do come hell or high water. The great Henry Mintzberg, in his book The Rise and Fall of Strategic Planning, cited 3 of these fallacious assumptions. Number 1, strategy in this format assumes that we can predict the future with accuracy. We know exactly what event, what circumstances, how our market's going to change, what clients are going to want, what new competition. It assumes we know exactly what it's going to be for the duration of the strategic horizon, say 3 years. The second fallacious assumption is that the person who gives you the route, in other words, those who design the strategy, can be different from those who are going to walk the route or actually travel on the journey. And what that means is the person who is going on the route from point A to point B has no latitude, understanding, jurisdiction to change the route. If that route is blocked, they have to come back and ask for a new route. That's what we call the strategy, or the fallacy of detachment, that strategies could be formed by person A and need for delivery by person B, C, or D. Frankly, the only strategy any of us get excited about is one that we feel is our strategy. The third fallacy is the fallacy of formalization. That being that if we write down the route in intricate detail, it's going to happen. If there's unavoidable obstacles, it doesn't matter how well it's documented, you go back to start again. So if strategy by route map doesn't work, but we know where we are today, and let's assume we've done a good job of understanding our future context and have understood the core challenge and understood and have a very clear vision. How do we get from where we are today to that future state? What we do is we plug in GPS points. So we use GPS, which says there are actually multiple ways to get to a destination. And if one road is blocked, you just get another way around and the GPS will take you to there very patiently. So consider your vision, the GPS. You have a GPS, you know the coordinates of where you want to go to as an organization. And now we have a very clear understanding of what we've got to get to. But the journey there needs to still have some kind of framework. And this is where we introduce 4 new thoughts. The first is to create a strategic field. And a strategic field is not about what you are going to do, but very clearly sets on our journey to where we want to go, there's certain things that are out of play. So that strategic field says anything inside is you were able to do, but what is outside is not permitted. What we will not do is shaped by what we will not do philosophically, what we will not do strategically, what we will not do operationally, and what we will not do behaviorally. Those 4 need to be agreed, and so that everybody understands that on our journey to the future, don't go outside those boundaries. Inside that field of play, you can do whatever you like. You can open new ideas, you can bring new things to play, as long as it is in pursuit of where we're going, our strategic GPS. The second thing is you have to give all the people in the organization access to the same information that historically only decision makers had. In other words, open source information flow. They need to have that information so they can make the smartest decisions where they are at the coalface. Number 3, you need to be maximizing the relationships between people. Create opportunities for people to connect, to share ideas, to pool thoughts, and to really ensure that you have people who know how to work with other people. It is not something that is going to be delivered by sitting in a back office. It needs to be dynamic, and that comes from the energy that's created when people work together on projects or in project teams. And fourthly, you need to let go. Because very often we are so concerned about putting controls in place, and controls limit initiative, they limit innovation, they limit people responding to market needs. And so the concept of allowing the organization to be slightly chaotic is quite scary for many people. But in essence, that's what you've got to do.